What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. We are trying something new here. Try to do some live recaps now for games. So we got two games tonight. So this one that just passed and I just got home from, the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, and they beat the Chicago Blackhawks by a score of 4-3. So basically, before we get into everything here, we're also using the painted lines as well. So thank you for them to also showing this recap along the way. So before we get into all of that, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that. Also, if you are new to the channel, definitely screw up. Like I said, this is a completely different scenario live and everything's going to be really screwed up. So it's going to be a little bit for me to get used to this, even though I've done live streams before, but still. Hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I'm grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So that could be to a Flyers game if you want to try to go there. Sixers game, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey. You can't pass that up. Also baseball, also football. When that comes back, definitely utilize the free $20 in your pocket. You can use that for soda. You can use that for food at the concession stands. You can't deny that. So use the code TTP Sports for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So getting into the business tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers, they beat the Chicago Blackhawks by a score of 4-3. And honestly, just with everything, do I want to say it's an exciting game? Yeah, there were moments. This game was very scrappy, like scrappy from start to finish. Like, I don't know why there was so much hatred between the two teams, but there was. I don't know why there were so many fights going along, especially after one of the Flyers' goals in the second period. And it just kept going on to where you get that Kirby Doc hit on Kevin Connaughton, and then basically everything that turned there went to just more scraps and scraps and scraps. But the Flyers find a way to actually get a win. And this is just one of those games where both teams are bad, and one of those teams is going to come out with the victory. And I guess you could say, thankfully, that is the Philadelphia Flyers tonight, winning by a score of 4-3. Martin Jones in it, actually. So Carter Harkin, the previous couple of starts, Martin Jones gets in net tonight. And I guess he's decent. I guess at this point where you're getting closer and closer towards the trade deadline, you're trying to showcase Jones a little bit, even though you get those rumors like so many weeks ago that the Edmonton Oilers, they wanted Jones, and Chuck Fletcher did not want a 5th-round pick for Jones. He wanted something more. So who knows what the hell is going to go on there until the trade deadline with Martin Jones. But he had I guess you can say he had a decent game on his hands. He stopped 26 out of 29 shots. So a pretty decent, I guess you can say, performance out of Martin Jones there. So yeah, just overall this game, like I said, just a bad game between two bad teams, and one team was going to come out with the victory. And sadly, that was, well, not sadly, because the Flyers won this game. I don't know why it sounds so Debbie Downer. I guess it's just because it's the Flyers, and the Flyers are that team that just make it the Debbie Downer. I guess that is the entire scenario right there. So basically, just going over this game. So you get the Flyers. Actually, in the first period, they didn't look that bad to begin with, and they get the first goal very early in the game. Also, Kevin Hayes returns to the lineup tonight. So it is nice seeing Kevin Hayes in the lineup. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I applaud for the guy for going through everything that he has gone through, especially since the beginning of the season with everything with his brother and then all the surgeries he's had to go through. And then also with the reason why he was out, like he had like some type of infection in his groin or something like that. So that's what's been keeping him out of the lineup so much. So, hey, all I can do is applaud Kevin Hayes for like everything that he has been going through. So yeah. So it is nice to see him back in the lineup, but like in terms from like all the other guys like Couturier and all, like, even though Couturier is out for the rest of the season, like for the same thing with Ryan Ellis, like who knows whenever the hell he's going to play again this season. It's most likely not going to be this season. So Kevin Hayes is one of those guys that has returned to the lineup, and he looked nice in his first game. There was a little bit of speed there for him, definitely, but overall he was I would say a pretty solid overall performance from Kevin Hayes in general, and his line is the one that contributes to the first goal of the game. And you get Hayes getting a nice feedback pass to Travis Sanheim on the point, lets it fly, and it gets redirected in front by Oscar Lindblom in front, making it a 1-0 Flyers lead there. And also one thing, thank God I'm at this game because I didn't get to watch the ESPN broadcast because a lot of people say the ESPN broadcast is insanely shitty. So I didn't get to experience that. Also, one thing, why is this game nationally televised? Like, I can understand looking at this. It's that, it's something that the NHL probably did like in the beginning, like ABC and all that, ESPN, they did in the beginning of the season. Like, I'm assuming like they do like their scenarios where, okay, a certain team every week gets showcased. And I guess this is the stretch of weeks where the Flyers are getting showcased on ABC/ESPN, because technically next week's game against Carolina on Saturday, that's also on ABC. So, yeah, it's the entire viewing broadcast of America gets to see the Flyers suck. Oh my God. Well, they won today, so it's a little bit of a weird scenario there. But next week they're probably going to get destroyed. So, but still, thank God I didn't get to experience you know, the uh the bad ESPN broadcast, I guess you can say there. But hey, the Flyers get that 1-0 lead, and they get the power plays throughout the game, and the Flyers power play continues to suck and suck and suck. So there's nothing new there. Chicago, it felt like majority of that first period was in control of the Flyers. They get their chances here and there. Chicago did ramp it up a little bit in the last half of the period, but the Flyers, well, we're still the better team in that first period. So they go into the intermission. They're up 1-0, but a completely terrible second period. My God, allowing 3 goals in this period in total. So it starts off very early. Blackhawks win a faceoff in the Flyer zone, and directly off that faceoff, it's Alex DeBrincat tying the game up at 1, sniping it past Jones. And yeah, basically, oh boy, can't wait what the rest of this second period has to offer. And it continues to go on from there. Just every goal in this game by Chicago just off of Flyers' mistakes. And basically, you can say that about the entire season, but this game entirely, my goodness. And the second goal by Dylan Strome off of a beautiful beat by Patrick Kane in the Flyers zone makes it a 2-1 Chicago lead, actually. And result of a turnover in the neutral zone goes the other way for Chicago, and bing, bang, boom from Kane to Strome. That's basically what happened there. And the Flyers, they find a way to tie this game later on in the period. They do get another power play in this period, but they don't score on it. Surprise, surprise. And, it's this line right here by, got Mike Yeo throwing out the original line from the beginning of the season of Derek Brassard, Cam Atkinson, and Joel Farabee. And those guys contributed for the last 3 Flyers goals. Joel Farabee getting 3 points in this game. And one of those points came on this goal by Cam Atkinson, where he has a wide open net, and all he has to do is bury it past Lankinen, and he ties the game up at 2 goals apiece. But then it starts to get scrappy right after that goal. You got a little bit of a sprawl going on there. So that goes on for the next couple of minutes, but the game is tied up at 2 goals apiece. But not that long after, once again, it is a turnover in the Flyers zone. They cannot break out for shit. And it turns into a puck that goes right to Dylan Strome, and he comes in and he puts it by Martin Jones, and he puts the Blackhawks up 3-2 going into the intermission. So turn it over in your own zone, turn it over at the blue line, and that's basically what is going to happen, I would say, at least 85 to 90% of the time. And that's exactly what happened there. Blackhawks get the lead going into the intermission. But we go into the third period. This period for the Flyers, surprisingly better. They actually battled in this third period to try to grind out the win, and that's exactly what they did. So it becomes early. It's Derek Brassard driving the net. It's a little bit, once again, this line of Brassard, Joel Farabee, and Atkinson showing their chemistry from earlier in the season. So it's nice to see. I'm not going to say this is going to develop into some chemistry the rest of the year. Hell no, it's not. But hey, it's nice to see him come back for a game. Just to see, it's nice to see Joel Farabee get those 3 points on the night. That's what I like to see right there. So you had a nice pass over from Farabee to Atkinson, and then he goes cross crease over to Derek Brassard, who throws it onto the net, and it trickles by Lankinen. Joel Farabee tries to poke it in there just for the extra, just to make sure it's in the net. But it is credited as Derek Brassard's goal. So it is a 3-3 game at the beginning of the third period. And then we go towards later, more than halfway in this period. It's the Joel Farabee line, Derek Brassard, Cam Atkinson. Once again, they break into the zone, and Cam Atkinson, from basically above the red circles, just snipes it above the glove of Lankinen, and it becomes a 4-3 Flyers lead. And then eventually, throughout the rest of the third period, it gets scrappy. You get that hit by Kirby Doc on Kevin Connaughton, and he goes down, and he barely can get up. He looks insanely hurt in that scenario. He has to be helped off the ice by the trainer and Scott Lawton. And basically, at that standpoint, everyone's complaining for a penalty. It was a dirty hit, mind you. He did hit his head into the boards, so he goes down. And then basically the Flyers are trying to get back at the Blackhawks for what they did. That's where all those scrums start off, where I believe it was closer towards like what was like 13 minutes into the period, like a little bit later or something like that, where the Blackhawks got to rush into the Flyers zone. They put one in on Jones. He makes the save, and then you get the little poke in there on the goalie like players normally do. And then the Flyers basically start that brawl out there. You got Claude Giroux going after people, Konechny having his head squashed on the floor. You got Sanheim flipping over Ristolainen and two other Blackhawks players as Ristolainen and Taves are going at it. So that was just a crazy shift in general. But the Flyers, there were penalties basically throughout this game for all the rough stuff that happened. The Flyers weren't able to score on their power plays. The Blackhawks weren't able to score on their power plays. So it was basically just ugliness all around. So you go towards the end of the game. Blackhawks decide to pull the goaltender, and for some reason they forget how to count how many players are on the ice, because there are 7 players out there with the extra attacker when they pull the goaltender. So you can't do that. That turns into a 2-minute penalty for for too many men on the ice, and the Flyers get a power play in the last minute and a half of the game. And then Flyers power play fashion, they make it scary as hell because they can't keep the puck in the offensive zone. Blackhawks go up the ice, they pull the goaltender, and they try to get all the chances in the world to try to tie this game. They don't. Flyers win the game by a score of 4-3. 3 stars of this game: Cam Atkinson, your first star for the Flyers; Derek Brassard, second star; and Joel Farabee, third star for the Flyers. Stats in this game: shots on goal were 29-27 in favor of Chicago. Face-off percentage won by the Flyers, 54.9%. For some reason, it doesn't say any team had power plays in this game on NHL.com, but I can definitely remember power plays in this game. That is definitely a lie on NHL.com standpoint. Honestly, their stats just are not working for some reason, for penalty minutes, for hits, for blocks, giveaways, takeaways. There were definitely some of those. The Blackhawks had a lot of turnovers in this game. So going on the shots on goal per period: first period 12-10 in favor of the Flyers. Second period 12-7 in favor of Chicago. So that shows you how much Chicago dominated that second period. And the third period was 8-7 in favor of the Flyers. So very, I guess you can say, interesting game. The Flyers get a win, a rare win where you don't see much. Honestly, you're not going to see many more wins this season. And the Flyers, they're almost done with this homestand because they have one more game left, and that's going to be against the Vegas Golden Knights, which is going to be on Tuesday, before they have 2 road games upcoming with the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. And then basically going through the rest of the month of March, you got a Montreal game after the game against Carolina on a couple of Sundays away. Then you get 3 days off. You play St. Patrick's Day against the Nashville Predators, which is supposed to be Claude Giroux's 1,000th game. Well, supposedly, hopefully nothing goes wrong in that standpoint. And then you got a game on Ottawa the next night on that Friday. Then you go on March 20th. You'll play the Islanders, which is the day before the NHL trade deadline. And then you have the trade deadline, which is on March 21st. And then basically wrapping up the month of March, you got a 5-game road trip: Detroit, St. Louis, Colorado, Nashville, Minnesota. That's how you wrap up the month of March, and that's where you go basically into the rest of April with all the games there, which will close out the season. So yeah, Flyers get their win. And looking at the standings right here, just to, why not? Just to see where the Flyers fall in the Metropolitan Division. So the Flyers right now with 55 games played, they are 17, 28, and 10 with 44 points on the season. They are a point above the New Jersey Devils, who have 43 points. They're 19, 31, and 5. And looking at the Flyers with the rest of the league so far, and basically the Flyers are going to be at the very, very bottom of the league. So right now, they're actually the 7th worst team in the National Hockey League, 26th overall with those 44 points. They are tied with the Buffalo Sabres, and Buffalo, they do have a game, and they do have the extra game played, so I guess the Flyers move up because of the whole game in hand nonsense. Then other teams that are below them: Ottawa, New Jersey, Seattle, Arizona, Montreal. Those are the other teams that wrap up the bottom of the division. But, when you get closer to the trade deadline and the Flyers trade off a lot of their pieces, and then they're eventually going to be calling a lot of people up to play, you're probably not going to see many more wins the rest of the season. So the Flyers are going to stay in that bottom part of the NL standings with those teams like the Buffaloes, like the Ottawas, like the not the I was going to say Colorado. Colorado is one of the best teams in the NHL. Like, my God, what the hell am I saying? New Jersey. Then you got Ottawa and all those other teams, Montreal. They're not going to be as bad as Montreal or Arizona, but Seattle, like those types of teams in that bottom feeder part of the NHL. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting turn of events as we come up with the Flyers season right here. Got one more game left on this homestand before you go on that road trip at the end of the week. So, they got to win. And that's basically, at the end of the day, just be positive that they got to win. Be positive. Also, don't be fooled with the attendance tonight. If you look at the attendance at the Wells Fargo Center, it was more packed than general. But that's more granted to if people at the beginning of the season, they're looking at this game. It's later in the season. It's an afternoon game on a Saturday. It's against like one of the more known NHL teams. Oh, Flyers versus BlackHawks. Let's go to that game. That should be a good one. Not knowing the precautions of what the hell this season is going to be. So yeah, knowing the next game against the Vegas Golden Knights, that game is going to be empty. It's going to be very empty, especially on a weeknight. So yeah, don't let the attendance in this game fool you. So that's going to do it for this video, everyone. Testing the live stream out a little bit. There weren't that many people live in the live chat so far, but I feel like that'll get better as days go along. So definitely, yeah, I see Renee right here in the chat. So thank you for joining the chat, Renee, as always, when we do the Flyers live streams. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to do this more often than not, just, test the ropes and see how everything goes on here. I'm probably going to do it for the Sixers game tonight since they play in 45 minutes in Miami. So yeah, that's going to be a very interesting one there. So even though I do see more people joining up the live stream as I'm getting closer towards its ending, but still, this is going to end it off. Hopefully next time we do get a couple of more people joining the live chat just to talk about the games. So thank you for the people that did join this live stream, and thank you for everyone that just watches the channel in general. So what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on just the Flyers in general? Don't forget to leave those comments down in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm also live streaming on. Their links are going to be down in the description below. Also drop them a follow, subscribe to them as well. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer to Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. And also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.